Batman the Animated Series is on record for me as one of those series that got me into comic books and nerd culture in general. The series wasn't without its flaws, but the way it was drawn, animated, and written was an all-around masterclass. And clearly I'm not alone, because there are thousands of retrospectives, reviews, rewatches, and video essays just here on YouTube alone. But this video isn't about Batman the Animated Series. I just had to mention it because without it, the show I'm talking about today wouldn't be able to exist. Batman Beyond only had a 2-year, 3-season run with a total of about 52 episodes and one pretty amazing movie. But it captivated a lot of people with its short time on air. It elevated an already game-changing art style, making this extremely futuristic version of Gotham, while simultaneously showing how the legacy of some of its premier villains permeated throughout the city over the years. As a Batman fan, I've done countless reviews, video essays, predictions, commentaries on films and TV series, but today I want to do something just a little bit different. I want to talk about one episode in particular, and predominantly I just want to talk about one scene in that episode. And this episode and this scene are equal parts amazing, heartbreaking, and shocking. It's episode 1 of Batman Beyond, titled Rebirth. It is a 2-parter. So with the rising popularity of Spider-Man in the 90s, with the up-and-coming live-action Spider-Man being in the works, WB really wanted to capitalize on the teen hero popularity. Hence the creation of shows like Batman Beyond, The Zeta Project, Smallville, Static Shock, and many more. From my understanding, fans of Batman the Animated Series were a little bit worried and turned off by the idea of Batman Beyond. They were thinking that because the show was definitely targeted more towards a younger teen and kid audience, that it was gonna lose some of those adult themes. But man, were they wrong. All of those themes that we came to know and love and respect BTAS for, they still were very heavy and prevalent in this series as well. The opening scene doesn't start out with the lead character Terry McGinnis. It starts out with the Bruce Wayne Batman that we've all come to know and love from the animated series. He isn't as quick on his feet, he isn't as agile as he once was, he's very sluggish and is clearly struggling to hold his own against this single petty thug. We see Batman in this really slick new suit, but something's just a little bit off. Our suspicions about something being wrong fully come to light when he has what seems to be a heart attack or an aneurysm while he's trying to fight this thug off from a lady who's been captured. He's doing everything that he can to protect this woman, but he just physically can't do it anymore. So out of desperation, he's forced to pick up a gun, something that he had sworn to never ever do. Batman just kind of laid there, trembling on the ground, pointing the gun up at this guy. And I vividly remember just kind of pacing around the room, just waiting to see what was going to happen next. Because that was an extremely impactful moment in this continuity of Batman. Batman Beyond was in a really unique position because it didn't really have to do anything to earn that particular big heavy moment. The work had already been put in BTAS. It basically was giving them an alley-oop and all they had to do was dunk it. We've already seen 100+ episodes and a movie of this version of the character where we watched him beat a cyborg version of himself, outsmart Clayface, manhandle the Joker, and go toe-to-toe with Bruce like Lockup, while also enduring immense amounts of psychological torment episode after episode after episode. So watching him get beaten with a crowbar while he's groveling on the ground is so heartbreaking because we're literally watching a fallen hero. This is the moment that made Bruce retire the cowl for good. This is the moment that Batman died.
Never again.
Even though this series creation was created from business, wanting a younger crowd to get introduced and invested in Batman, this is still one of my favorite series of all times involving the character, and this is one of the best pilot episodes I've ever seen. I'm not saying it's the best, but for me it is up there. It shows the future and a complete arc from a character that we spent so much time with over the years, while also introducing a new character in a very meaningful and impactful way that didn't tarnish the legacy of everything they set up before. This series is also about Bruce Wayne finally accepting his mortality. It's about him accepting the fact that life is meant for living. It's about him accepting the fact that if he wants to be happy, he's going to have to find a way to contribute to society that doesn't mean him being in the Batman suit. And that is super important for the growth of the character of Bruce Wayne. But on top of that emotional weight, the show is also about a young Terry McGinnis channeling his anger and using it for good, and Bruce Wayne kind of being able to go back and right some of his wrongs through Terry. That's pretty much what the series of Batman Beyond is, and I think this Rebirth episode captured that perfectly. And if you've seen the series in full and know Terry's actual background, it gives the title even more meaning. Revisiting this episode makes me a little sad that live action movies stray so far away from the Bat family. Characters like Dick Grayson Robin, Tim Drake Robin, Jason Todd Robin, Batgirl, all these characters are a natural part of Batman's progression. It's a reason why Robin was introduced in the comics very shortly after Batman was created. He needs a ward to show him that life has meaning outside of the cowl. These understudy characters are a very key component in his growth. Without them, he never really grows into the man he's supposed to become. Without them, we never get an ongoing Batman story, because without them, Batman is stuck in this sad and lonely loop, fighting crime and becoming more bitter and jaded as the years go by, more susceptible to giving in to the darkness inside of him. Without these types of characters, we're gonna be stuck in this never-ending, continuous Batman reboot cycle, and that is just depressing. And also, shout out to the Patreons as always at the end of these videos. You allow me to be able to do content that I want to do without having to stress and worry about the godlike YouTube algorithm to pick me up. I appreciate y'all. It's your boy Eddie Knight, and I'm out.